Yo, what's up guys, this is the Insane Game Freak. This is going to be one of those impromptu vids because I didn't plan to make this, but news came out and I wanted to talk about it and I wanted to talk about fan reaction. And then I need to record a societal discussion, which will probably be recorded later on the night. Whether it gets uploaded tonight, I doubt, but we'll see what happens. Let's go. Anyways, I want to discuss the whole Nintendo shutting down its Wi-Fi connection servers for the Wii and the DS line, which essentially means only the Wii. The Wii, not Wii U, Wii, just the Wii, and just the DS line, which includes the DS, the DSi, the DS Lite, the DS XL. It doesn't include 3DS and 2DS are not involved in this, and Wii U is not involved in this. It's just the Wii and the DS line. I want that to be clear because I think a lot of you guys did not know that. From what I've been seeing, a lot of people don't understand that. It has nothing to do with the Wii U, and it has nothing to do with the 3DS/2DS, okay? Or the 3DS XL. None of that is affected. They're closing down the online servers. And for those who don't know what that actually means, that simply just means that you can't do online stuff like mystery gifts from the Pokemon games, using that to battle people from Gen 5 to Gen 4 kind of stuff. You can't... there's no leaderboards. You can't, pretty much, it just restricts online. It's not like the games are nerfed or broken. It just means the online capabilities for them are pretty much screwed. It doesn't mean, local is fine. You can still do local multiplayer, so don't fucking worry. If you want to battle your friend through Pokemon and you both are in the house and you both got your DS's, it'll work. I think you could do antennas, so... that is fine. Also, for those wondering, Hulu and Netflix and the Wii channel, what was it, like the Wii shop channel, and then the internet browser, things like that still work. This only affects games. So any other internet capabilities that your DS/Wii have should be fine. This only affects the game's multiplayer. So like for the Wii, Battle Revolutions Online won't work after May 20th. Tatsunoko vs. Capcom won't work. Smash Brothers Brawl won't work. But in terms of like the game itself, nothing changes, just the internet. And I want to talk about a few things about it, specifically more of the fan reaction, but the first thing I want to really address is I do think this was a little early, specifically for the Wii U more so than the 3DS, because the the 3DS has been selling like hotcakes. So most people who own a DS owns a 3DS at this point, or at least the gap in which they do and they don't is not as big. That's the first thing. The Wii U I do think is a little early, considering the Wii U's only been out for a little bit over a year, so it's like, wow, that's kind of, especially when the DS and the Wii were still, well, the DS was still getting games. I mean, if we look at Pokemon Gen 5, that's only about 2 years old. Well, at least the last Gen 5 game is only 2 years old. Which, that means you have 2 years to play that game and then pretty much it's over. The Wii, on the other hand, didn't have that many online games. But I see this, I mean, I'm not saying it's not a bad thing in a sense, but I think of this more of an overwhelming good thing than a bad thing. In particular, the reason why is because one of the reasonings they gave, actually was the main reasoning they gave, was that we're preparing for online matchmaking for Mario Kart 8 and Smash Brothers. And I don't know about you, but for me personally, if you need to kill out a service that was really not that good to begin with, let alone something anyone gave a damn about, well, let me first, people gave a damn. What I mean by that is a service that is not current and doesn't need to be focused on right now, I have no problem with you killing that to focus on newer games, whether it be for Wii U or 3DS/2DS/3DS XL. And if you want to focus on the two games that people wanted good online for to begin with, then Mario Kart and Smash are like the two best fucking examples, and they both come out this year. And I know a lot of people are bummed because, a lot of people like playing Mario Kart Wii, but I believe you have Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS. And 10 days after this happens, Mario Kart 8 is coming out. So it's not that big of a deal. But the fan reaction is the part I'm going to start ranting about, because some of you guys are full of shit. Or some of you guys aren't thinking straight. So a lot of you believe this is the money. And granted, I will admit, before I get into that, this is partially due to the fact that Nintendo was really late into the whole online game. And what I mean by that is this. Sony and Microsoft are going to go through this problem in terms of... Actually, Sony and Microsoft, this makes even less sense why, for certain things, certain issues with the Xbox One and PS4, I don't want to get into right now, but Nintendo has like 2 separate networks for the last 2 consoles. It's like, you have Nintendo networks for the Wii U, and you have Nintendo Wi-Fi connection for the Wii. This is the problem, and this was the result of not creating a dedicated network for your console. Because if you had a dedicated network, then you could easily just play Wii games on the Nintendo network servers like you could play Wii U games. But they didn't make that network until now. And granted, they still have the possibility of doing that in the future. So if anyone wants to call this a money grab, it's not really a current money grab, it's more of a future money grab in the sense that when they finally do start porting Wii games onto their newer consoles, then I'll call it a money grab. But for right now, it's just kind of preparing for the future and not focusing on the old anymore. You gotta move on and go after the new shit. You have a dedicated network, you shouldn't even really be focusing. There is no reason to keep supporting the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. And a lot of people are like, well, Nintendo are assholes because their console was failing and they're just trying to force me to buy a Wii U. Okay. And they're saying, and some of you guys are saying, they're just being like Sony and Microsoft with this shit. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the Wii U the only console you can still use your old controllers for? Like all of them? Like the Wiimote and the Nunchuck and the classic controller? I'm sorry, can you use the PS3 controller on the PS4? No. Can you use the 360 controller on the Xbox One? No. That's the first bunch of bullshit up here. Second thing is, isn't the Wii U the only backwards compatible console out of the 3 next-gen consoles? Oh, it is. Well, fuck me. Because obviously they're not trying to make... I've always said this and I'll keep saying it. Nintendo makes the whole current to next gen transition the smoothest. They've done this with the Wii and they're doing it with the Wii U. I don't feel like I wasted my money on a console when I'm able to use its peripherals and controllers and even games on the next console. That was the cool thing about the Wii. I mean, for God's sakes, the Wii has GameCube ports on it. Because Nintendo knew how much people loved that fucking controller. And for some stupid reason, people in the back were like, oh, they just want the money. They're just trying to fuck over the consumer. Oh, I'm sorry. If that was the case, if you notice for every major franchise game, well, not every franchise game, but most of them, they have a game not complement, but supplement for. For example, a lot of the Pokemon games, you aren't going to be able to do the Wi-Fi battles and shit over the world anymore. We have Pokemon Bank is out now, right? And Pokemon Transporter is out right now. And you have X and Y. So if you really want to, take the Pokemon from the old gen games and still battle with them, you can easily just use Pokemon Bank to do that. It's not like, and I understand some people wanted to do it over black and white, and that's whatever, but you gotta understand, this is logical progression. It's not like they're just trying to fuck you over completely and not leave you with nothing. Even for another example, people want to play Mario Kart. Mario Kart 8 comes out literally 10 days after this happens. So you have a 10-day wait. Same thing with Smash Brothers. You're getting a Smash Brothers this year. Some people are speculating it's coming out in the summer, considering they mentioned both of those games when giving a reasoning why they're doing this right now. I do think it's a little early in terms of the Wii. In terms of the Wii U Wii situation, because some people still use that connection when they play Wii games on the Wii U. But the point I'm trying to make is that don't act like Nintendo just completely fucked you over and left you with nothing. It's not like you don't have alternatives to use in these situations. And a lot of people are wondering, well, is this going to happen for the next console? No, because that would imply, if that was the case, then wouldn't the same thing have happened to Sony and Microsoft when they switched from PS3 to PS4? You can still use your PSN on PS4 if I'm correct. And you can still use your Xbox, it's an Xbox Live or just Xbox in general account on the Xbox One, right? At least from what I understand. So I would think that was the logical progression. People go, but your games aren't tied to your account. If you remember the investors meeting, Nintendo Iwata mentioned that is something that at least by the end of this generation, or at least Wii U generation, we will be able to do. Therefore, I'm expecting with the next console that you will be able to take the games that you've downloaded all in your Wii U and take them to whatever next console is going to be called. I don't think, in terms of online connectivity and dropping service, that this is going to be a problem again. It's only a problem now because the Wii from the Wii U has a different type of internet architecture. They focus on the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection bullshit, whereas we have the Nintendo Network situation. That's why this is happening for this current transition. But don't act like like Nintendo's just trying to fuck you over, as if they didn't give you alternatives or ways to still do what you want to do, even though you just can't do them the exact way you were doing them before. And as I said, you can still use Hulu and Netflix. You can still buy eShop game, well, not eShop, I guess Wii Shop games off of the Wii still. So it's not like you're being restricted in every way. It's not like you still can't use your Wii for other things. Why in the fuck do people think that this was just inherently done to fuck you over? But like, look, if they want to really focus on this being a dedicated online server network for Nintendo, you gotta drop the bullshit. You gotta drop these things that don't matter in the long run. Are they gonna use Nintendo Wi-Fi connection in the long run? No. Are they planning to use Nintendo Network ID shit in the long run? Yes. And I think all of us don't want to do friend codes again. For God's sakes, we're hoping the 3DS gets that damn treatment, because we are definitely tired of typing in, what was that? That's about 12 numbers / letters to add somebody into our friends list, alright? I think we're trying to move past that. So any progression is never bad, especially when it's obviously a step forward. And what really sold me was the fact that they mentioned that the reasoning is because they want to improve the online experience for the new games coming, the ones that matter more in the situation. Does it suck for Wii owners, Wii only owners? Yeah, but don't act like when you get a Wii U, you have to drop everything that's on the Wii. You don't. You can transfer all your saves over. You can use the same goddamn controllers on top of the gamepad you get with the system, and on top of the Pro controller you can buy for the system. And half the games you mostly, which is mainly Smash and Pokemon and Mario Kart, which are the 3 titles most people give a fuck about. You have a new Smash coming this year. Mario Kart comes out 10 days after this shit ends. And Pokemon has the Pokemon bank and transfer system. You're gonna go, but you have to pay for that. Well, first off, you get a 30-day free trial. And 2, it's a yearly subscription fee of like, what is it, like $4 or $5 a year. You spend more on Netflix and Hulu for that shit. Come on, give me a break. People need to stop bitching about something. Now listen, I'm not saying it's not a bummer. I'm not saying it's not a little bit too early, specifically with the Wii U and Wii situation. But the point I'm trying to make is, don't act like Nintendo inherently just fucked the consumer over. They've done a lot to make the transition from the Wii to the Wii U smooth as fuck, which is a lot better than me buying a brand new console, being forced to buy new games for it. I can't use any of the shit I used on my previous console. Oh yeah, and instead of just getting the same games I have on my previous console and playing them on my new console, I have to buy the definitive version of them. So get the fuck out of here with that. Anyways, Sand Game Freak, post the comments in the comment section below. I'll leave the little post to the whole information thing about it and what games are affected in the description. Life's a game, play to win, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace off.